In the most dazzling debut feature in cinema history, 25-year-old writer, producer, director, star Orson Welles synthesized the possibilities of sound era filmmaking into what could be called the first truly modern movie. In telling the story of the rise and fall of a William Randolph Hearst-like newspaper magnate named Charles Foster Kane, Welles not only created the definitive portrait of American megalomania, he also unleashed a torrent of stylistic innovations, from the jigsaw puzzle narrative structure to the stunning deep focus camera work of Greg Toland, that have ensured that Citizen Kane remains fresh and galvanizing for every new generation of moviegoers to encounter it. From 1941, 119 minutes, in black and white, Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane's a film that is kind of a requirement for any film buff, and you hear about it a lot. At least I did, that it topped many lists of greatest film of all time. People say, this is the Citizen Kane of this and that. So you hear a lot about this movie, and I watched it at an early age. I watched it at 18, and I didn't care for it. I think I came in prejudging it as far as, a black and white film, kind of slow moving. What am I going to gain from this? Then I watched it later in college, and, I liked it a little more, but I really think I must have zoned out, because this viewing, by far, the most rewarding. I think not only have I grown as a person, but as a filmmaker, so I was able to really just let the movie take over and wash over me. A lot of the storytelling aspects, the use of voiceover, the editing, the non-linear style of storytelling, the way the camera is used, the writing, all comes together, and it still holds up to this day, and I really think that Citizen Kane is, in fact, one of the most impactful films in cinema history, especially coming off of, silent film and transitioning to talkies. Nobody had really nailed it at this point, and I think Orson Welles, for a debut film, really nailed it out of the park with Citizen Kane. Break it down to its small, finite detail of plot. It's really a mystery. What is Rosebud? Who is Rosebud? Everybody thinks it's a person, an ex-lover, Rosebud. That's the opening shot. We see like the broken down mansion of Herman Foster Kane and do not trespass sign with the fence and everything. We see all that opening, and then we see Herman Foster Kane in his last breath holding a snow globe and had the snow globe falling out of his hand, and he's saying Rosebud. So the whole movie, the whole 2 hours, we're thinking like, well, what is Rosebud? Who is Rosebud? And everybody's trying to investigate. They go and they basically interview all the people that were involved with Herman Foster Kane over the years that are still alive, and they try to dig up like the big mystery of who Rosebud is. So then when you finally see what Rosebud is, because they were asking the wrong question of who Rosebud is, but what is Rosebud? It's just a fantastic ending when you see what Rosebud is, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody that's brand new to Citizen Kane. Go into Citizen Kane as blind as you can if you're new to this film. I can't stress it enough. As a technical side, this movie still is influencing today. I mean, I'm still thinking of the shot his mother is making the decision to give him up for adoption, and then you see little Herman Foster Kane in the window behind them playing in the snow. And it's really like a great moment where you're seeing two stories at once. You're seeing the dilemma of sending this, less fortunate kid off to a rich family to have this rich upbringing and become who he becomes throughout the film, which is this sort of political rich figure who sort of ends up alone and bitter in an empty mansion. And then you also have the innocence of a child playing in the snow. I just think it's fantastic how he told the story in the single frame, two stories at once, parallel to each other. So I want to do an unboxing sort of presentation of the packaging for the Citizen Kane, because not only is this thing heavy, it's very complicated, and I spent 5 minutes trying to get the disc out of this. First of all, they have, and this is one of the few, if the only one that has a slipcover. This is where things get complicated. So there's Orson. Yeah, it flips into this figure 4 type thing. So you can see the discs are kind of slid in the folders, and I had a hard time getting that 4K out. Anyway, there's a booklet in the middle. There is the Rosebud, the snow globe, and this is a beautiful essay archival book here. This is great. So Citizen Kane, check it out. Back to the show. Alright, so that's the packaging for the Criterion 4K UHD I have to say it's a great transfer. It's a great package. Anybody that is a fan of Orson Welles, Citizen Kane, the special features on here are like taking a film course. You have a brand new 4K digital restoration with the original audio monorail soundtrack, Dolby Vision HDR, and 3 Blu-rays with the films and special features. So 3 audio commentaries, documentaries, the complete Citizen Kane and rare scene feature-length BBC documentary, new interviews, 2 video essays, new program by film scholars, interviews. Oh man, there's so much stuff packed into this package. It is the definitive collection for this movie. So let me know, guys, have you seen Citizen Kane? What did you think of it? Does it still hold up? Let me know below. For more Return of the Disc, visit returnofthedisc.com. Check out the audio version of today's show, available on all major podcast platforms. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel.